It has been too long, fellas, but we are back. Back on YouTube, back in Draft League, back in everything. Welcome back, everyone. It's been a long time. Today, I bring to you the draft analysis of the Atlanta Victory Stars. Not the Atlanta Raichus, the Atlanta Victory Stars. That's right, people. We have moved on. We are bigger, badder, and better than ever. And of course, you already know who's your coach. It is Playmaker, and I'm excited to give you guys this breakdown of this draft analysis. It's gonna be fun. And shout outs to Aki for making the logo. She's very talented. If you need a logo for yourself, just hit me up on Discord and I will refer you to her because she is so damn good at what she does. Okay, people. So, first off, we have the number one draft pick with the 10th overall pick, Garchomp. Now, a huge part of me was like, man, should I go with the mascot pick of Victini and just kick off the league in a huge way? Just, just it would just be iconic, symbolic, however you want to put it. But Garchomp at this position, man, this thing is so good. Especially with the DLC, it got scale shot, and man, this thing is way too strong for its own good. Sword stand scale shot, boom, things are dying, and yeah, and obviously it's really good because it's a stealth rocker as well, and it's got ground stab with earthquake, and so yeah, I mean it's Garchomp, guys. It's Garchomp. It's faster than all the base 100s out there. It's Garchomp, everybody. So definitely really excited to use this thing. It's Gara, right, from our Pokemon Platinum uh, Nuzlocke, because we got a shiny Garchomp. Well, we got a shiny Gibble, and it evolved into a shiny Gabite, and then it evolved into a shiny Garchomp. So excited to use Garchomp. Welcome back, Gara. With the second pick, I had to go Sylveon. Sylveon is a really good fairy. The previous pick was Togekiss. Basically, I think it was one pick, or I think it was one pick right before I went. They picked Togekiss, and I was like, okay, well, fairies are dropping off the board. Clefable's already off the board. This is the just everything in Wi-Fi that's available. So Sylveon was basically like one of the only other good fairies out there. Primarina was also an option, but I just wanted something that would serve cleric purposes. I wanted to go away from Umbreon in this draft. I know, shocker. I know, because Umbreon is the goat, the greatest evolution. But I was like, you know what? Sylveon has some offensive capabilities as well. And, we got the Wish with the Mystical Fire and Hyper Voice. And if we're afraid of Throat Choppers, we just go for Moonblast. And so I feel like there's been a lot of a lot of pros when it comes to selecting Sylveon in this position. I just couldn't risk getting a bad fairy later. So I went Sylveon here, guys, and I think it pairs pretty well with Garchomp. Now that I'm thinking about it, um, if I had gone with Primarina, then then it would be able to take ice attacks as well as serve as part of that Steel Dragon Fairy Core for later. So we're good. We're good with Sylveon here. And then I was gonna pair this with Metagross later if I could get Metagross. in the draft. I think Metagross would be really good here, especially when we're going to talk about other synergistic qualities to the team. But I'm happy with Sylveon here. And now for one of the free positions, so we have 400 points total. Cinderace is a tier 2, so I was like, okay, let's get Cinderace. As will serve as a speedy attacker. It has court change as well for getting rid of hazards, and um, it's also got momentum with U-turn. So a lot of positives about Cinderace here. I just wish it was a little bit bulkier in some senses. Just defenses being at 75 and whatnot. So um, yeah, I mean, just kind of got to live with it. But Powerball dealing out uh, base 120 fire attack plus stab makes it base 180. So uh, and 10% chance to burn, also 10% chance to miss. So that's always fun. Um, so yeah, but at least we're not taking recoil from like flare blitzes or whatever. I was debating between taking Cinderace or waiting till later and getting Entei, but I just figure that it's Cinderace, guys. Cinderace is good at what it does. So I'm happy with Cinderace. The next pick is another tier 2, 120 points, going in the free spot. So we have committed to basically taking 3 tier 2s and a tier 5 with the free spots at this point. But I had to get Galarian Moltres. I had to see for myself the power, the fury that will be inflicting upon all of our opponents. Guys, let me just say, this is probably the coolest design that Game Freak has ever thought of. This Pokemon is freaking amazing. I love the way it looks. I love that it gets Berserk. I just wish it got better recovery. But besides that, I really love this thing. This thing, it has pretty great defenses, especially 125 special defense with 90 HP. That is above average. I will take that any day. We're going to be tanking hits. We're going to be dishing hits. Fiery Wrath has a 20% chance to flinch. Air Slash has a 30% chance to flinch. If only this thing got Serene Grace, guys. That would be nasty. But I'm also okay with Berserk. Berserk is also like really good too. I think there's a lot of potential with um, Galarian Moltres. So we'll see. We'll see, everybody. We shall see how this thing does. It's obviously the first time I'm using it because I think this thing came out like right before the draft started. So hallelujah, guys. Hallelujah. I'm so excited to be using this thing. Super excited. Up next, we have Slowking. So if you can't beat him, join him, right? So so yeah, Slowbro was actually picked with I think the second pick in the second round. So uh, so yeah, I was not getting Slowbro. I just had to accept that. And in terms of Regenerator and Teleport, Slowking is probably the next best option, and it's a great pivot, especially for getting recovery, and really good on the especially defensive side, pretty decent on the physically defensive side as well, and it's got a pretty good range of coverage moves as well, and access to slack off, and so we're sitting pretty here, boys. Like I was really happy that this thing fell to us when it did. Um, you guys are gonna see real quick that we're gonna have very uh, this team has a lot of potential, guys. I'm telling you right now that I'm so excited about this team. This team is like
gonna be god tier. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm telling you. Um, there's just of a lot of things that we can do with this team. So yeah, I mean, obviously this thing's on the slower side with 30 base speed, but I mean, who's counting? Who's counting? I mean, with um, I mean, I'm not even sure if you can have like perfect speed tiers with a semi-limited. I mean, it's still not even semi-limited. I mean, I think most of the things have come out, and so I mean, we'll see how our speed tiers look towards the end, and I'll let you guys in the comments tell me if the speed tiers look good or if they're not, or you guys can even tell me if you guys like the team, if you guys think the team sucks. But overall, I'm liking the team so far. Um, and yeah, just was gonna say that. And up next we have Blissey, one of the fattest Pokemon I've ever seen. I wanted an extra Stealth Rock user, and this thing also gets um, Teleport and Heal Bell, Aromatherapy, Soft Boiled, a lot of good recovery options, Wish, and and yeah, it's also got some uh, good, specially defensive moves as well. Seismic Toss if I just want to go straight up defensive and just want to be dealing consistent damage to everything, especially things that just might set up or whatever, and can paralyze things with Thunder Wave, put poison things with Toxic. Um, just basically making this thing my committed, like, specially defensive wall anytime I use it, but it's so good, guys. This thing is, I mean, I think it's good. It has the potential to be good. This is my first time using it. It's my first time using Slowking and Blissey and Cinderace and Galarian Moltres in draft leagues. So, no, actually, I used Cinderace in like some showdown tournament thing, and yeah, and then I've used Sylveon before um, in the TBL Summer League, but that was for like 2-3 games. So don't even know if I want to consider that. Okay, next up we have Hitmontop, another first time comer to the team. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I love this thing. This thing is, it's. I love the design at least. I've not used it in draft league. It's got Intimidate, which is really cool. I'm 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 always happy with Intimidate users. I think this is the first time I've ever drafted an Intimidate user. Now that I think about it, which is really cool when you think about it. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to use this thing. You know, it's got like, you know, your typical priority moves like Mach Punch and Bullet Punch, and then you can have close combat, high jump kick, um, and I mean it's HP is like really low. It's like 50 base HP, um, but you know defenses are like pretty decent, and so I think this thing will be used more so defensively than offensively, unless I just am like, wow, well this person's team is super weak to fighting, so we're just gonna slap a choice band and click close combat every time. So we'll see. We'll definitely see how this thing plays out. If I feel like it's underwhelming, we can always switch to another tier 4. Phalanx is always there, but I also like this thing because it also gets Rapid Spin. And Rapid Spin got a buff in Gen 8, being base 50 attack, and then increases speed, and so we'll be having a really fast Beyblade. Or whatever we decide to nickname this thing. I mean, I feel like I've seen Beyblade as a nickname for it plenty of times, so we're probably gonna lean away from that. Uh, so we'll see. If you guys have suggestions for any nicknames for any of the Pokemon, feel free to comment down in the comments section below, and I will be sure to look over it. Cool, thanks. All right, next up we have Aurorus. Now, it came to my attention from Tishan, you getting a shout out, buddy, that Aurorus not only gets snow warning, which creates hail, but it also gets Aurora Veil. And this was something that I thought had Aurora Veil when it first came out in Gen 6, but it didn't. But now it has Aurora Veil. And I'm like, what? Since when? Since Gen 8. Since Gen 8. So, um, really cool to have this thing. It's not weak to fire, which is really nice considering how. Actually, we don't have anything weak to fire at this point. Yeah, must be nice. But yeah, and it also gets Stealth Rock. And those were like the two big things for me, just the ability to have Stealth Rocks as well as Aurora Veil. Those were just kind of like the things I had in the back of my mind. I was like, okay, actually, this is what I need. I actually need these things for my team. So now we have 3 Stealth Rock users, and I'm happy with that. And it also gets Freeze Dry. So that is also super nice. Super nice Freeze Dry. And keep in mind, I have not drafted a Steel type up to this point, and I'm going to explain why later, uh, basically at the last pick. Um, so, yep, next pick, we have Haunter, and Haunter is tier 5, so 40 points, base 95 speed, fills the speed tier, gives me 2 types that I don't have already, Ghost and Poison. Special attack's actually pretty decent still. Um, I feel like there's a lot of potential for Haunter to come to a match every now and then. I mean, we'll see, um, but yeah. And then last but not least, I'm trying to think if there's anything else about Haunter I need to mention before I go to my last pick. It gets Nasty Plot from Gen 8, which is cool. But yeah, and it has Levitate, so we're not getting hit with ground attacks. So yay for that. Other than that, defenses are like really bad, but okay. Now, last but not least, we have Magnezone. So, so yeah. So the thing about Magnezone is that I didn't even want this thing at first. I had said before that I wanted Metagross. I wanted Metagross. I wanted Metagross. But after I picked Cinderace, Metagross got taken. And I was like, well, that is a huge, huge, huge rip. Like, that just was killer. Like, I was just like, why? Why would that person take Metagross of all the other things that were on the board, including this thing? This thing was on the board, but nope. They just didn't want that. They didn't want that. They didn't want Magneton. They didn't want Steelix. They didn't want any of these other Steel types. They just were like, you know what? I'm going to get Metagross. I was like, I was going to take that later. But alas, this is why we draft. And so, yep, I was like, you know what? Actually, Magnezone is actually really good. Like, I don't have an electric type. This thing is like this thing like takes lives. It's super strong on the special attack side, and it's just it just can be used as a counter to some Pokemon. Magnet-Pull is an amazing ability, sturdy as well. If I think that I'm ever gonna need it. What else is the other ability? Analytic. Analytic. That thing is, whew, gosh, if you want a slow Volt Switcher and you want something to use Volt Switch slower for Analytic to pop up, this thing's your dude. And of course, this thing has access to like other other moves as well, like teleport. You know, like teleport's really good with Magnezone. So I have three teleport Pokemon with Magnezone, Blissey, and Slowking. I have a Baton Pass user with Sylveon. By the way, it's Dry Pass, so you won't be able to pass any stats or wishes. Yeah, this league says no wish passing either. So just I gotta live with that. But yeah, I think for Magnezone, that basically covers what it does best. And uh, I'm excited to be using this thing for the first time. Like everything, I'm basically using everything for the first time except like arguably like Cinderace and Sylveon, and I've used Garchomp in pre-Gen 8 format, like in terms of um, showdown leagues, or not even a showdown league, but like a competition like for Pokemon Grand Prix. That's what I used Garchomp for. It wasn't the best time. I just was not that great of a Garchomp user at the time, but I think we can find ways to make Garchomp more viable in this go around. And um, the other thing about I like about Magnezone though is that it has the most resistances of any Pokemon in the game. I think uh, it's either that or Aegislash. Yeah, so actually it does have the most resistances in the game. Magnezone does, and then I think Aegislash has the most immunities. I think that's what it is. Um, so yeah, I think Magnezone uh, is very viable in that sense. I can take ice hits pretty well with this thing. I can take electric hits pretty well if I don't want Garchomp switching in. Um, I think there's a lot of good things about Magnezone, uh, and yeah, I cannot wait to use it. I think this thing's gonna be really good. So after, I guess like towards the last two picks, someone was like, actually, I really want Auroras, and I was like, man, you want Auroras? I thought I was gonna be using Auroras. Rip. But I was like, you know what? Like my speed, I have a huge speed tier gap between base 70 and base 90. Like if I can get a base 80 Pokemon in there, I think we're gonna be good. So, um, so yeah, then I was like, okay, so I'll give you Auroras, but you got to draft what I need for tier 5, and then you have to also trade me Togekiss for Sylveon. And so they thought about it, and they're like, you know what? Okay, all right, I think we can do that deal. So I ended up getting uh, Togekiss and Tangela. I originally had wanted Armaldo instead of Tangela, uh, but the guy didn't read my message, and he saw that, um, or he actually didn't see uh, that he was the only person who could take a tier 3, I believe it was, um, because he wanted Noivern, I think, which is tier 3. Um, but nobody else could afford to take Noivern but him and me. But I was not going to take Noivern because I had Garchomp. And then there's another person, I think, who had points as well, but they had Dragonite. So he was the only person that was even going to think about taking Noivern. So he ended up taking Noivern regardless, because I was trying to tell him, I was like, look, you don't have to take Noivern. You can take the tier 5, which would have been Armaldo, and then taken Noivern after that. But he didn't read my message in time, and he ended up drafting Noivern, and then the very next pick was Armaldo. So I was like, okay, you know what? Give me Tangela. And at least this thing is defensive, super defensive on the physical side. It's a grass type. It's an electric resist, and it also gets Regenerator and Sleep Powder and a lot of fun things. And Eviolite just makes this thing even a lot fatter. So I'm cool with Tangela. Tangela. I think I think it's Tangela because it's like tangled hairs or whatever. Tangle. I'm gonna say Tangela. I think that's what it is. Um, oh, the other thing is about why I waited to the very last round to draft Magazone. I'm sorry, guys. I just remembered. I didn't explain that. So the thing is that everyone else had basically taken a steel type, and I was like, okay, well, or a steel type or an electric type. So I was like, there's a very good chance none of these teams want Magazone. And so the other thing is that Magnezone is a tier two. So I was also counting up free points for other teams as well, just to kind of see when I can wait on Magnezone and how long I can wait, and if I can just snag Pokemon from other tiers because of that, and it ended up working out in my favor. So really glad that I got Magnezone. But I also now have Togekiss, which is speed tier 80, and has Dazzling Gleam um, and Air Slash and Thunder Wave, all my favorite moves. Roost as well because of Pokemon Home. Thank you, Pokemon Home. Um, and also, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to use this team, guys. Like overall, this is what the team looks like. Um, and yeah, there's. Oh, I was about to say. I thought I almost missed Hitmontop. But Hitmontop's at the bottom, but these are. This is everybody here. We got Garchomp, Togekiss, um, Slowking, Blissey, Tangela, Hitmontop, Galarian Moltres, Cinderace, Haunter, and Magnezone. Yep, that's everybody. So this is your Atlanta Victory Stars, and I feel like we're gonna have a good season. It's a really good season. I have to set up LAN, and that's not gonna be fun. But luckily, I'll have Wanderer to help me out with that. So yeah. Well, thank you guys for watching the draft analysis. I hope you guys had a good time and enjoyed it. If you have any questions, any nickname suggestions, um, anything you want to talk about, your thoughts on the team, whatever you want to talk about, you can comment down below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to respond to it. So thank you guys again for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye.